Welcome back to Mock the Mock, where we take a look at someone else's mock draft. And I'm Mock and give you my views, thoughts, and opinion. It's been a long time, I feel like, since I've done a Mock the Mock, where we're checking out Justin Mello from the Draft Network. And he's got this mock draft titled Trades Galore. So it's going to be mighty interesting. But hey, while you're here, go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content as always. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that nice, beautiful football discourse. And let's go ahead, get this sucker started. By the way, I did a 3-round mock draft just yesterday, so go ahead, check that out. But the Carolina Panthers, they're not trading one, so no trade here just yet, but they take Bryce Young. He is now the odds-on favorite. To me, he is the top quarterback in this class. I feel like if you're trading up for all that, then it tells me one of two things. Either you go with Bryce Young, who is probably, for most people, their top quarterback in this class, or you just go ahead and say to hell with it and swing for the fences on the upside that is Anthony Richardson. I know he's got a large group of haters out there, but I think you could honestly start that cat day one. And yeah, you're going to have to live with some of the inaccuracies early on. But I mean, we saw how much of a menace was Lamar in his first season. And then I believe, was it season 2 that he was the MVP, or maybe it was season 3? I don't know. Time works in funny ways. The Houston Texans take Will Anderson, and man, I swear, with watching, I like watching other people's content, right? So NFL Stock Exchange going ahead doing this. D'Amico Ryan's coming out saying we don't need a savior, which basically means we don't need a quarterback potentially. Not that we don't need a quarterback, but we don't need this pick to be quarterback. And then everyone in my I see a bunch of people just hoping and praying for Will Anderson going to the Texans at pick 2, and it's like, I don't like it. I still think you make this pick quarterback. You get some stability at the quarterback position. You don't know if you're going to be in a position next year to be drafted this high without having to throw away a lot of draft capital. You don't know how exactly next year's quarterback class, you don't know exactly what it'll be look like, who declares, what happens in a year's time. There's just too many variables. But I have seen, again, this could be a lot of smoke out there, but people report that the quarterbacks will slide in this class, and not big slides, but we'll see them. We'll see maybe 2 inside the top 10, and maybe the other 2 maybe slide somewhere in the top 20. And it makes me nervous because it makes me reminiscent of last year's class, where a lot of us were sold because quarterback value is so huge and blah blah blah. But I don't know. These array of quarterbacks are much better than last year's. And I mean, Texans, they do have pick 12. They're rumored trying to move up to potentially 3, if that's possible, which would tell me they still want to get a quarterback. So maybe they move back up in the top 10 to try to grab a quarterback, since maybe they were in love with Bryce Young, and they're like, we can move back up in the top 10 and really take whoever's left. So not saying I like this, but in terms of, do I feel like it could happen? Very much now. I feel like 30 to 40%, I feel like this could happen right now. And obviously we'll know more as we get closer to the draft. Okay, but we get our first trade here. The Arizona Cardinals are moving a hell of a lot. They're moving down. I don't necessarily love the trade. Oh, never mind. I think I love the trade value, because I thought that they would, with Danielle Hunter involved, that might mean, okay, then we don't need to throw another first rounder in there. I'm like, Danielle Hunter's not going to be a long-term answer for the Cardinals, but they get 24, they get 87, they get a first in 2024 and a first in 2025 with Danielle Hunter. Yeah, you could talk me of not picking in the top 20. You could talk me into that. So the Vikings move up to get Will Levis. Listen, I really do think Will Levis is going to be taken inside the top 10, if not the top 15. A lot of him is just pro ready now, however you feel about his ball placement issues. The decision making, I don't think is terrible. I think it's think he's got average decision making, and that, so a lot of things happen because the ball placement can be poor at times with Will Levis, but he's got an NFL arm. He comes from an NFL offense that ran NFL passing concepts under Liam Cohen and this past year former Niners quarterback coach. I want to say it's Rick. Can't remember his name, but on top of that, he's making calls in the huddle at an NFL level. Like, it's going to go a long way. So Vikings move up, they get there. Okay, Kirk Cousins, we're done paying you money. So I could see something like that happening. Indianapolis Colts take Anthony Richardson. So it's a CJ Stroud fall we got going on in place. So if I'm the Texans, I want to make a move on Stroud. That means I'm going to be talking to teams like Detroit and Seattle. I want to get in front of the Raiders and the Falcons, because I don't trust either of those two teams to not take a quarterback. So, interesting predicament. Maybe in this mock they just let the Raiders pick them up at 7. I don't know. We'll find out. But Richardson going to the Colts, that's solid. Getting huge upside. Jalen Hurts, he just got paid today. Congratulations. Good for him. He deserved it. Seattle Seahawks will go with Tyree Wilson over Jalen Carter. I really feel like this pick is Jalen Carter. I really, really do. I'm willing to bet my life on it. No, that's not true. I cherish my life a lot more. But I really feel like that they'll be like, we'll bring this guy into our system. Listen, like, okay, we've gone a couple of drafts where we're prioritizing high character individuals. We could bring in this guy who, from his locker room, is a great guy. He's made some boneheaded decisions. There might be a work ethic concern, perhaps. I don't know. I think it's a little overblown. 2 years of tape and you're going to tell me that guy has a bad work ethic? 2 years of elite tape and you're going to tell me he has a bad work ethic? Okay. But Tyree Wilson, I guess some people can be high on him. I don't know. He's another guy I see kind of all over the place. Really think he doesn't make it out of the top 10. If he does, I'm not going to lie to y'all. If the Titans don't end up getting a quarterback, and I could see Titans taking him, I could see the Texans taking him. Huge wingspan and better athlete than people give him credit for. Just needs a polish on the pass rush moves. Here's the other trade. It's the Tennessee Titans. So the Texans are literally to hell with the quarterback. Wow. Okay, I don't like that. So the Titans give Detroit pick 72 and a first in 2024. I like that. That's good for Detroit. I think it should be worth considering moving down then. And then we see CJ Stroud going to the Titans here, and they get their answer for Tannehill, who's entered the final year of their contract. If they really are already out on Malik Willis, who, to be fair, you'd be like, oh, he was terrible his rookie year. And it's like, he should have never started his rookie year. Them putting him on the field, I thought was a mistake. He was a guy you knew you were going to need to develop, and you gained nothing but hurting a young quarterback's confidence, which could be debilitating in some cases. It's hard for young quarterbacks to bounce back after that. Good luck, Zach Wilson. But Stroud here, I think it's a fine pick. I think Titans are definitely in play for a quarterback as well. Las Vegas Raiders take Devon Witherspoon. I think he's a good fit for Patrick Graham's defense. So, yeah, good on them. Christian Gonzalez is probably in the cards here too. Atlanta Falcons go with Myles Murphy. Yo, hear me out, guys. Hear me out. I think when I do a predictive, because next week y'all are going to get a 7-rounder, and then y'all are going to get a predictive mock draft since it's the week of the draft. Y'all are going to get my 7-rounder, then you're going to get predictive. I think the Falcons might be my Bijan spot, but I don't know if they pass up on Christian Gonzalez. I'm kind of sold that they might want corner, and if corner's not there, that they go Bijan. That's kind of where my head's at. Like, if you're asking me, what landing spot can Bijan go? It's really up in the air. But if you really want to ask me to narrow it down, I feel like Atlanta could be one of those teams that are like, yeah, no, we actually had a very good offseason. We feel like we're a more complete team than a lot than people give us credit for, and I tend to agree there. Just go ahead, grab. Arthur Smith would love to grab Bijan. He loves Derrick Henry. He was like, "Yo, I'm in on this run back position," and we could still see Tyler Algier get a ton of carries. But they get Miles Murphy here. Pass rush could be open. I really think this is probably corner, though. I really think this is corner if Gonzalez is still on the board or Witherspoon, which, oh, man, I mean, do those two guys go ahead? I think there's a world that it happens. You could say Detroit and the Raiders, potentially. They go corner back-to-back. There's a world that could happen. Jalen Carter's fallen, by the way. All right, we got the Steelers actually trade up. So we got 3 trades inside the top 10. Once the draft starts, you'll be lucky to see 1 trade inside the top 10. If it happens, it's usually at 9 or 10. So Chicago gets 49, and they get a second rounder as well. Okay. I feel like maybe you don't get more than that. But they get Paris Johnson. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I think the Steelers are in our Darnell White. I think it is. Do they move up to 9 to get him? They might have to if the Bears take him. Like the hype train for Darnell Wright is wild right now. Hop on. I know you didn't buy a ticket, and somehow you found your way on here. Well, welcome. But man, Steelers. I don't think I like the Steelers moving up, man. But if they really do like a tackle or want a tackle, they're gonna have to. All right, well, the Philadelphia Eagles stay put at this pick, and they take Bijan Robinson. He's got to go somewhere. I don't think Howie takes him. I'm not buying that the Eagles general manager, Howie Roseman, refuses to take a running back here. The Eagles have already hosted Bijan Robinson on a top 30 visit, which indicates a legit interest to me, which that's fair, but not at 10. I think the Eagles would love to trade down out of this pick. All right, this is the Lions pick. They move down. They still get Carter. This is kind of ludicrous. This is kind of ridiculous. This is the best thing that could happen to Detroit. I love it. Not much more to talk about in this pick. Lions fans got mad at me for not taking an interior. Listen, if you're going into the draft and you got like really big needs, and it's like, oh, why aren't we addressing that? Like, positional value, boys. Don't reach on prospects on your board, especially if they come at less valuable positions. Defensive interior tends to be a less valuable position. But Jalen Carter's phenomenal here. All right, Houston Texans, you stayed put, and now you're getting Jackson Smith-Njigba, and I don't like this draft. For the Texans to be like, oh, only because you don't like quarterback. It's like, listen, no, even at this pick. A lot of Texas fans are like, oh man, we should get receiver. And it's like, I think you could go day 2 and get quality receivers. I really do. Like, you get Jackson Smith-Njigba, and then what, you're forcing John Mechie outside. Granted, I projected him as a slot guy in the NFL. Doesn't necessarily mean he is a slot guy. They still got Nico Collins. They brought in Robert Woods. I don't know. I think I'd rather the quarterback and then going with the defensive line talent, because look at the guys still left on the board. Well, I guess it's only Lucas Van Ness at this point. Yeah, they were a pick away from getting Carter. That would have been nuts. Yeah, I think it's only Lucas Van Ness. Miles Murphy is gone. Tyree Wilson's gone. You can make a case for Nolan Smith, but I think Lucas Van Ness is the better fit. So, yeah. The Jets, everyone and their mom, they're going to be projecting trenches. They're going to be projecting just a trench player here until Joe Douglas is no longer the GM of this squad. And to be fair, it makes sense. Mekhi Becton's his future is kind of a big question mark. Dwayne Brown is old, and unless they're moving Elijah Vera Tucker out there to tackle, Yeah, they kind of got questions there. Hold the phone real quick. I'm kind of curious. Have they brought in Ben Jones yet? Have they signed him? Was he able to pass a physical? Have they brought in anyone to play center? No, it's still Wes Schwitzer. Golly, just sign Ben. Get Ben Jones in already. Bet you it's just him not being able to pass a physical right now. Yeah, because like even if you move Elijah Vera Tucker out, like you have this huge hole at right guard. You must have to keep him there. You're gonna run with Max Mitchell on the outside, so it's like tackle just makes a ton of sense. Plus Broderick Jones, I think profiles as a really good run defender early on as his pass protection skills come together. Joey Porter going to the Patriots here. Ultimately, I feel like Patriots trade back because that's just what Patriots do. Patriots do Patriot things. Getting size at corner is nice. I like the Joey Porter pick. Other options here. What do you think, Gojo? All Gojo had to say was he hates Tom Brady. He's a Chiefs fan, man. He doesn't care if Brady was with the Bucks when they beat the Chiefs. He hates Tom Brady, therefore he hates the Patriots. Which, being a Dolphins fan, I can respect that, Gojo. I can respect that. Receiver, but the way the general draft community and public is just crapping on this receiver class in the first round, I don't see that. It really feels like maybe tackle or corner here. Then New England has they always tend to surprise. The Green Bay Packers take Lucas Van Ness. I think that's fine. You could also probably put Nolan Smith in the run in here. Really, technically, who do they feel fits best? Right now, they're 4-eye and 5-tech is kind of open. That was a significant role last year with guys like Jaron Reed, Dean Lowry. So Lucas Van Ness also can come in and operate in there at times. This guy's got he played 3-tech back in 2021. So this is a guy you could play inside. Christian Gonzalez was still on the board, and I had no idea. Listen, I get it, man. Ron Rivera, he doesn't take corners in the first round. Maybe he should. Like, what else are you doing here? I've seen people be like, oh, they could go tackle or guard. And I'm like, those are probably the positions you're set at. You got Norwell, who's probably the least among your tackle and guard group. And I would say he's a solid starter. You forced Samuel Cosme into guard, so shame on y'all. You signed a 3-year deal with Wiley, and you have Leno, who's fine. I think you probably still have Cornelius Lucas there too. So you really look at that center position. If you're going to really point out anywhere where you have Royer can't stay healthy on top of Nick Gates, who had almost a career-threatening injury just a couple of years ago. So you look at the center position. Chicago Bears, wow, they trade down, still get Darnell Wright. Must be nice to have your cake and eat it too. Really must be nice. Good on them. Right tackle is kind of the position that's open right now with Jenkins moving to left guard. You got Nate Davis, right guard. Whitehair moving into center, but they also have Patrick Lucas or Lucas Patrick. I'm sorry, he's got 2 first names. I don't know which one goes where. I can't remember. Then Braxton Jones, you keep at left tackle. So ideally, you are getting a right tackle, and like the good one, like the guys that you think you would want to play early at right tackle: DeJuan Jones, Darnell Wright. I think Paris Johnson's up there. I know he only played right guard, but like he's got the skill set. I'm just happy he played on the right side. I'm trying to think. Broderick Jones, maybe not. Maybe you want to keep him on the left. Peter Skoronski. Oh, he's still on the board. Oh, I think Peter Skoronski's gone inside the top 15, top 12. Lions take Michael. Oh gosh, Lions fans. We're just gonna skip this one. You just talk about it in the comment section below. I'm not gonna talk about this. Ooh, I like the Brian Branch pick. I like that he still gets some love. With Nolan Smith on the board, I think that's hard to pass. Nolan Smith, your pass rush was kind of pee poo poo when Shaq Barrett went down. I get it. Brian Branch comes in, fills in the slot immediately because you got Antoine Winfield probably moving more to a safety, normal safety role this season after playing majority in the slot last year. They signed Neil Siren? Pause. Bucks depth chart. Why can't I think that he had a really good year in Seattle this past season? Ryan Neal. Where did I get Siren from? I don't know. But so I don't know. I think Nolan Smith is kind of hard to pass there. Seahawks take Peter Skoronski. This is just great value if I've ever seen it. He's got to walk in day one, and he's playing either center or guard. If you don't know, Skoronski recruited from high school as a center, forced to play left tackle early in his career, projects really good as a guard. So, like, he could really play any of the 5 positions, and I don't care. All right, we have Nolan Smith going to the Chargers. I mean, it's exceptional value because Nolan Smith, I got ranked pretty high. He's up there with the other edge rushers. For me, literally, I have Miles Murphy, Lucas Van Ness, and Nolan Smith ranked all one after another. And I think actually just literally a couple of spots up is Tyree Wilson. He's not that far from. So Nolan Smith being here is, I think, it's good. It's hard to pass up, but I really think they might want to go with a speed option though and Zay Flowers. You could be like, oh, they could get a speed option in the second round, and I look to you and I ask who. Like, you think Jalen Hyatt's going to be there? No, he's gone early second. Shoot, he might even sneak into the first half of, or the back end of the first. Josh Downs, he's not going to be there. We're not even going to talk about him. Nathaniel Dell, he's super small, 4.49. Probably runs faster than that, but outside of that, Cedric Tillman, Michael Wilson, like there's Marvin Mims, but now we're talking about guys that are more like third rounders. So it's like, I don't know. This is why you do mock drafts to plot out these things. Keely Ringo, is he still a first rounder? Butter my biscuits. Baltimore taking a corner here. Why not Deontay Banks? Isn't he the guy with the hype? That's interesting. I think I would take Banks because Ringo feels like a bit of a project right now, unfortunately. 2 years of starting experience, but I would say he looked better actually in 2021. One seemed to maybe take a little bit of a step back in 2022. But you know there's talent there. And might end up being a safety though, which, I mean, they grabbed Brandon Stevens a couple of years ago, who coming at SMU, he's a former safety, moved to corner. Arizona Cardinals take Keon White. Keon White, I guess apparently since he's going to the first round, or he's going to the NFL draft, that he has to be a first rounder. Not necessarily the case. But I know there's a lot of people like Daniel Jeremiah. I think, is it Dane Brugler that's also very high on him? I've seen this cat anywhere from like top 20 to not inside people's top 100s. It's that wild with Keon White and his projection. I think he's probably firmly a day 2 guy though. The Jacksonville Jaguar, because I mean, well, I guess you're playing this guy inside with the loss of Zach Allen. I think that makes sense actually. Dalton Kincaid going to the Jags. Evan Ingram might not be the long-term answer. I think that's fine. They get Kincaid. This pick is honestly the best player to fall to Jacksonville. I think that's what it is. I like the idea of the Giants getting Zay Flowers to be like, oh, great, now they got just stupid small receivers. Well, Wan'Dale's coming off a big injury. LeBron Paris Campbell, do I like him better in the slot? I don't know. But I like at least have like mad speed out there. Just be like, hey, listen, we might not have necessarily some of the biggest guys there, but you're going to have to contend with a lot of speed. You're going to be having to come in with those dime packages just to cover these guys. So I kind of like that. All right, I'm going to let y'all look at Dallas's pick as it's Steve Avila. while I stroll to get Gojo outside. All right, later, Gojo. It was fun having you here, bud. All right. So Steve Avila. Let's think about this, because I think you got Zach Martin, and I think Tyler Smith probably ends up playing left guard this year. They have Tyler Biadasz at center, because I mean, Avila, he could be a center or a guard. Tyron Smith, maybe you just move on and put Tyler Smith at tackle. He was fine there last year. I think you can make a case either way. Buffalo Bills, Jordan Addison. So they get another slick route runner next to Stephon Diggs. Address the offensive line, Buffalo Bills. Your offensive line wasn't helpful for the run game, and it wasn't helpful for Josh Allen's health. Address the offensive line. Oh my goodness. Next tackle off the board is Matthew Bergeron. So I like Anton Harrison. I really feel like Anton Harrison, though, with as little as he's kind of been talked about, ends up going day 2. DeJuan Jones is interesting. I could definitely see him early day 2 as well. Bergeron, I've seen get some first round love, not as much as like DeJuan Jones. So these are those are the tackles left on the board. I think DeJuan Jones makes the most sense here, because I've seen a lot of people profile Bergeron as a guard, which I think kind of makes sense. He's not the most fleet foot person, but to be fair, for what they did during after a quarter of the season, and they kind of switched to more of a gap heavy scheme, I think that fits Bergeron. You'd be moving him on a side. I believe he hasn't played. Not positive. I could go take a gander real quick. In 2021, Bergeron, you were... Yeah, pretty sure he's only played the left side his whole career. Oh, no. His freshman year, he had 5 starts at right tackle. And then the first 3 of 2020, he played right tackle before moving to left. Okay, that makes me feel a little bit better. But also, people tend to profile this cat into the guard. That kind of gives me some reservations about it. Saints, man, they grab Tamiwa Adebawore after, let's say the Peyton Turner experiment hasn't gone well. Kind of just need to move on from that or move forward. Fortunately, he has yet to prove himself. Injuries have kind of played a factor into that. Adebawore could play inside on passing downs. Maybe a cat you play on the outside early downs, but then again, not the best tackler. I think early in his career, you're probably not going to have him on the field for rundowns, just because the missed tackle problem, a lot of that is largely technique. People kind of worry about how do I word this? A smaller lower half that might give him fits if he's playing on the interior as a run defender. So there's questions out there. Those same questions come up with guys like Cansey, Brian Brezzi, so they're all in the same group here. But I love Adebawore. He's got he blew up the combine. I think he's got the testing that you bet on. I really do. And then at 31, we have Deonte Banks. He fell. This is a phenomenal pickup. Good on y'all. Oh, this is a joke mock draft. Anywho, because I just took a look at pick 32. Oh, but Banks is great, man. Banks is great. Phenomenal athlete. I think when he's tuned in, he is in the top 20, top 15 discussion. Just for me, sometimes I feel like he checked out in a couple of games this past year. And then the Texans trade back in, using pick 73 to get Hendon Hooker. This makes no one happy. Like, this doesn't make me happy. I mean, you get the 5th-year option on the quarterback. That's great. He doesn't play next year, and then what? Maybe, I don't know. I'm intrigued because he's pretty darn ahead of where he's supposed to be at in terms of his health. I think he's a lot better off than people tend to think. I'm not taking this first round. I'm not taking this first round. If you're one of those Hendon Hooker marks that really love him, especially for the first round, check out my quarterback rankings video. I discuss firmly why I'm against Hendon Hooker in the first round. This dude was one of my favorite players last season in college football. He was going to win the Heisman, guaranteed, if he didn't go down to injury. He was the best player in college football last season. That doesn't always translate to the NFL. Anywho, then again, depending on the offense, if they kind of bring over like the Kyle Shanahan offense, how much of the like the passing deficiencies can you hide? Stop. That's it for the video. Go ahead, do the YouTube thing. As always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.